Trump official Scott Bessent did not expect to get confronted like this. And NBC News' Kristen Welker on NBC sort of stunned him with actual facts. I guess he thought it would be an easy interview and he was wrong. Welker confronts Bessent with prices that are up. That includes coffee, beef, bacon. Why did Trump promise and claim and say over and over and over again, prices will come down as soon as I'm sworn in? Bessent says, you know what, Kristen? You're the problem. You're cherry picking. And the truth is she isn't. Grocery prices are up.
Okay, let me ask you about something here back at home. Inflation. We learned this week that inflation in September ticked back up to 3%. That's the highest level since January. I want you to take a listen to something that President-elect Trump told me back in December. Take a look.
I started using the word, the groceries, when you buy apples, when you buy bacon, when you buy eggs, they would double and triple the price over a short period of time. And I won an election based on that. We're going to bring those prices way down.
Mr. Secretary, coffee prices are up 19% from a year ago. Beef is up almost 15%, and bacon up almost 6%, just to name a few. So when are all grocery prices going to come down, as President Trump promised?
Well, Kristen, it's unfortunate. As much as I like you, you like to cherry pick. So, when we came in, it was eggflation, eggflation, eggflation. Egg prices are down, gasoline prices are down. Overall, the inflation since President Trump has come in, has come down. We inherit.
Notice that that's not true. It's essentially flat, which means prices are still going up. Trump promised prices would go down.
This terrible affordability crisis from the Biden administration. The first thing we had to do was get it under control. And this month's inflation number was actually below the consensus number. If we look at core inflation, it was 0.2%, which was the lowest it's been in a long time. Rents are coming down. So, Kristen, you don't get to cherry pick. Inflation is a composite number, and I am confident that in the coming months, inflation is going to come down.
So now it's going to come down. So was the problem solved by Trump or wasn't it? By definition, she's cherry picking in the sense that she's picking, but grocery prices are simply up. They're just up, and Trump promised they would come down. This was not a good interview for Bessent, and he pulled something that's really wild. Bessent tried to say he, as a lowly soybean farmer, is also getting crushed by what's going on. And it's interesting because he's not really just a soybean farmer. I'll explain that in a moment. But he seems to be acknowledging that the situation is bad for soybean farmers, which he has attempted to deny up until this point. Listen to this.
I did mean the second term. I know they have.
And I should mention, this is from a different interview. He was interviewed on a bunch of shows. This is from this week.
Met before. The president has also said he does want our farmers to be taken care of. You did mention that China has been boycotting American soybeans, and American farmers have really suffered. Do you see a real light at the end of the tunnel there? They may allow soybeans again?
Well, Martha, in case you don't know it, I'm actually a soybean farmer, so I have felt this pain too.
So there is pain being felt. That's interesting.
And there are a couple of things happening here. One, the Chinese have substantially dropped their purchases to almost zero, so they
And why have they done that, Scott?
Unfortunately, have been using American farmers who are amongst President Trump's biggest supporters. I think he had more than 90% support. And then this was one of the biggest crops in 20 or 30 years, so it was a perfect storm. But I think we have addressed the farmers' concerns, and I'm not going to get ahead of the president. But
yeah. He calls himself a soybean farmer. Scott Bessent, as part of his $600 million net worth, owns a farm. The farm is worth $25 million. He is not a farmer. He has people working at the farm for him, doing the farming. He owns a farm. And even if that $25 million farm went to be worth zero, he would still have $575 million of net worth left. They attack others for playing the victim, but then they say they are the biggest victims. Bessent is just a lowly soybean farmer. He's getting crushed too. Eric Trump and Don Jr. go on TV. Nobody's been treated worse than our family. It's terrible. Blah, 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 blah. They say grievance politics are bad until they do the grievance. They say victimhood is bad until they start to claim they are the victims. Bessent is disgusting, but deep buried in there, he's acknowledging, yeah, there is pain for the farmers, but it's going to be fixed. He denies that there's inflation, but then says soon it'll come down. Oh, so you were saying there is inflation. He denies that there's a problem for farmers with Trump's policy, but then says, I'm one of the people like the soybean farmers getting hurt. It's pick a position if you like it. And if you don't, wait 5 minutes and I'll pick a different position that maybe you'll like better.